Hi friends, Moses here at the Driver Success Channel. So as I mentioned, I promised you guys that I would make another video where I just kind of compare Schneider and JB Hunt Intermodal. Remember, I mentioned this in one of the videos that before coming to JB Hunt, I first applied with Schneider. They had accepted me. They gave me a ticket to go to their orientation, and then they called me at the last moment before I could fly out to the orientation, asking me for my police report for the accident that I had in, I believe it's 2014. By the way, in case some of you are still wondering, I think I told you guys they took the police department took the money off of the account, but I haven't yet received the police department. I haven't yet received the police report. But because they had already given me the job, they had given me the offer for the job, they had also told me how much I was going to be paid. Again, it was going to be activity pay, which meant from the letter I received, they said they would pay me $32 per load. They did not specify about being drop and hook and live loads. They didn't go into the details about detention pay and all that stuff. They only told me I was gonna be making $32 per load, and I was gonna be making 26 cents per mile. Now, in the letter, they did specify that they have other accessory pays, which means they do have things like detention pay, breakdown pay. I'm assuming they have all that stuff just like JB Hunt does. But they didn't tell me the details of that. They only told me I was going to be paid $32 per load, and I was going to be paid 26 cents per mile. So based on that information alone, I want to do a kind of a comparison. But please understand this. Don't take this comparison so serious, because it's taking a lot of things out of consideration. For example, what I'm doing is I'm getting the accessory pay that I was paid at JB Hunt and adding it in there. In other words, I'm assuming that the things like detention pay and empty moves and hazmat pay are the same thing with Schneider. That's an assumption, but I don't know if I don't know what Schneider pays. So look at these numbers, but don't rely so much on them. I'm just doing this to kind of help us, especially for you guys who are thinking about Schneider and JB Hunt, to kind of give you a way to look at these two different companies and see what you want to do. But all this is based on assumptions. Don't take it for what it is, because you don't know if you would get the miles. I don't know for sure if you'd get the many loads that I'm taking into consideration here. I don't know if you'd get more loads or less loads. I have no idea. So look at this, but realize it's only based on assumptions. So I don't think it's really fair even to the companies involved here as I give this. But for us drivers, I just want us to kind of give us a way to think about some of these things that companies tell us. So if you go and watch the video, in case you haven't watched the video that I made about my pay in the first 4 weeks, you can go back and watch that to get more details. But based on those numbers, I'm going to compare it to Schneider. Excuse me. So in the first week with JB Hunt, I did 18 loads. So I'm going to take those 18 loads and just multiply them by 32 that Schneider says they pay by the load. That gives you 576. If I take the miles that I drove the first week, 1,034, and multiply them by 26 cents per mile, it gives me 268. and 84 cents. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all the other accessory pay, like the detention pay, the hazmat pay. I'm all getting it and adding it up, which comes to $99.54, and I'm gonna add it there, just looking at it, assuming that that's the same thing I would be paid at Schneider. But again, friends, please remember, it's just an assumption. This may not really be the case. But if you made that kind of money and you had those loads and ran those miles, altogether with Schneider you would have made $944.38 compared to $910.74 with JB Hunt. The second week I did 16 loads. If you multiplied those by 32, you'd get 512. 905 miles at 26 cents per mile, you would get 235.30 cents. Accessory pay of $190.75 would give you a total of $938.05 compared to JB Hunt, which is $950.25. In the third week, the 19 loads at $32 per load would give you $608. 994 miles at 26 cents per mile would give you $258.44. Accessory pay of $153.75 would give you $153.75, a grand total of $1,020.19 compared to $965.45 with JB Hunt. In the fourth week, 17 loads at 32 cents would give you $544. 850 miles at 26 cents would give you $221, and then accessory pay of $226, a grand total of $991 versus $957.50. Those, again, remember, it's just comparison. Remember, you don't know if you'll get as many loads with Schneider, or you don't know if you'd get less or more loads. You don't know that. You don't know if they would pay you, how much they would pay you for the accessory pays. You don't know how much hours you'd put in. Not that hours matter here for the numbers, but I'm saying I'm just making an assumption based on what Schneider said they would pay me and based on what I get paid here at JB Hunt. But it's an assumption that I'm making to help us think of or look at these two companies. So if you want, you can call Schneider and ask them for details, or if there's another driver that works for the intermodal department, they could maybe give you more information about it so that you could make a better decision on which company you think will pay you more if money is your motivation. But again, as I have said before, sometimes money is not the only thing you should look at. You want to look at the culture. Is that the company you want to work with? Are there different things that are involved? So all those things are things that you have to take into consideration. What I'm doing is just sharing with you information and my experience here with JB Hunt, and just hoping that it will help you make a better decision on what you want to do with your career, what you want to do with your life. And hopefully this information helps you out. But again, I just want to emphasize that these numbers are based on assumptions. I know someone out there is going to take it as it is and say, oh, this company pays more, without looking into the details. So I just want to emphasize that, because I don't want you to say that I gave you wrong information. I'm just giving you information to help kind of open your eyes to what's available and how you can weigh your pros and cons and decide on what you want to do with your career. But again, if you choose, if you think that JB Hunt is a good match for you and you want to come join the team here at JB Hunt, just want to let you know that they do pay drivers for referring other drivers. So if you have at least 3 months experience and you wanna try out the JB Hunt team, we have different positions. I know right now they still have intermodal local positions, at least here in Fort Worth, and in other parts of the country they have regional runs, they have dedicated runs, they have over-the-road runs. So just go to the website, see if you see anything that interests you, and then send me an email. Let's take it from there and see if things will work out for you. That's what I wanted to share with you, and to just see if it will help you out. Until next time, stay blessed and stay safe. Bye-bye.